Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Line of Code. I am One Line. Today is Friday, and it's Community Day. Yay for Community Day. So on our channel, Community Days happen on Fridays, and they are days where you, the community, can drive the conversation. We'll go whatever topics you want to talk about, provided they are within TOS and are relevant to the channel's content, blah, 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 all of those fun things. But yeah, so feel free to bring up topics and stuff. I'll say this about, I don't know, 10,000 times total throughout the stream. But we'll use words. We'll go until, it's because I'm trying to say the amount of time at the same time as saying the ending time, but then changing my mind because I don't want to say the ending time because time zones will go for 2 hours. And after that 2 hours, we'll end Community Day and shift into Workday stream. So here is desktop. What we have been doing on Community Days on the channel is working on the open source version of the data import library. This is what I'm currently working on for work products. So you're going to go over here and you are going to go over here. Work product stuff is overwhelming at the moment. There's a lot of stuff to do. Figuring out how to store SHA-2 or what I should store SHA-256 values as in a table in a SQL database. That's what that is. Hockey ducky. Thank you. And I will hop into a voice channel. So the ways that you can participate in Community Day, by the way, are one, you can hop into a voice channel on Discord and let me know, type !waiting in chat. And that will let me know that you're sitting in a voice channel and you want to join the stream voice channel, and I'll pull you into that room. Your voice will come through on the stream. Streams are recorded, so if you aren't comfortable with that, then that's probably not an option for you. Or if it just doesn't sound like a good idea to you, then the other way that you can participate is simply by chatting. Bring up some topics, share your work. If there are things that you want to share that you've been working on, technologies you're excited about, questions you have about something that you are currently doing that you would like us to go over together. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to get the data import library open. So today for the data import library, what I'm planning on doing is adding in the tests. And because we aren't done with the conditional value transformation, it's just not easy for me. This is the thing about installing Perforce and the Visual Studio extension for Perforce, is that every single time I open Visual Studio, it wants to default to the Perforce source control plugin, even though I have pushed yes to this and it closes the solution and I go into the options and say, I want to use Git as my default. The next time that I open Visual Studio, it tries to use Perforce as the default. So I'm starting to think that when we were talking about Perforce either Monday or last Friday, I can't really remember what day it was, the advice was to stay away from Perforce. For Unity projects specifically. So what I'm using Perforce for is to locally host a repository of assets that I'm using for the other stream. And I thought, hey, here's a way for me to use Git, kind of local Git, without needing to install LFS, without needing to know what the limitations are of Git using something that is built into Unity as a source control, version control option. So I thought, hey, this would be a good idea. And I kind of remember us talking about Perforce on the stream and how it works with Unity projects. And then setting it up was pretty easy, but understanding the concepts, not super difficult, but like workspaces, there was just that immediate hurdle of workspaces actually local to the machine. It's like a git local folder, local git folder. And I'm doing great with words today. It's like a local git folder, and the depot, it's so hard to remember that term. The depot is the downstream repository. I still have no idea how to manage multiple repositories. What about the free time spaces? I'm not sure I understand. I see the smug face, but I still don't get it. Workspaces, time spaces. Okay, so there's this thing called space time that we're all familiar with, but did you know that there's a thing called time space that we can also operate in? We just need to achieve a higher level of consciousness. That's all. So I was confused. There's a lot of jumbling going on right now for me. But since I did show this on Monday or Wednesday, like I said, time is a thing. Itchy nose. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. So I think I was saying this, but because we're not done with the conditional value transformation rule, what we're going to do today is pull in the tests. If I recall correctly, we have done a PR to get the library up to latest. Good. So let's pull latest main. So if you are interested in the project that we're currently working on stream, we have a command about the side project. View data. Where's view data? Oh. Wait, that's data import. I'm looking for the bot. Does anyone know where I put the bot? I think I have too many things open in my brain. What are you called? You are called BlazorBot, but the name of the database is called Automated Realms Bot. Help. And I want to view data for our commands. View data. And we have a command for SCOD. That's not the one. We have a command for side project. And that command is going to give us the description of the side project, which handily I have in a text file over here that says one line is no. I have a Friday blurb, but I don't have one for this project. Here's the Friday blurb. Friday blurb. But what I really need is the description of the project. One Lion is working on his side, on a side project, community project. That is a, oh, there's so much. I'll get caught up. Data, import utility, library. How dare. Feel free to contribute. And feel free to check it out and or contribute. https://github. I don't know if you can read that, but it says git bug. I don't know what I was typing there. I know how to English. Once upon a time. Oh. Gitbug.com. No cooldowns, access level, anyone, usage count, don't care. No arguments. I don't know what this column is. True, disable counting how many times it was used, enabled, and whatever today is, 2/7/2025. All right. Refresh commands. Oh, geez. Kind of forgot a thing. I may or may not have remembered to load the model. I'll let you be the judge of that. It's kind of weird though, because refresh commands is a very specific command that doesn't need to go through the LLM. Hello, Nerd Herder. You ever write something so complex that you dread going back to work on it at a later date? Never! Not a once. Don't look at me that way. It is against my nature to write unmanageable, unmaintainable code. Never mind that I do it all the time. Almost always late, or almost. Oh my gosh. Always, says Dugasoft, at least lately. So yes, definitely is a thing. I'm actually in the middle of that right now. I really am trying to make this library maintainable and easy to use and easy to extend, but it's starting to get unwieldy. What's going on here? Go here, get latest. How do I revert unchanged files? Get latest. Oh, Perforce is not it's not good. I don't like it. And it's just me. It's probably that I don't get it, but I don't like it. So the next thing I'm going to do with this Unity project is change it over to use the Unity source control and see if that's any better. I am just trying to use the tools needed, or not needed, the typical tools that are used for the technology. And GitHub, I don't think is a great way. I don't know for sure, but I don't think it's a great way to host your source do version control for a Unity project. I do want to share where I'm at with that after I read some more chat. So Nerdherder said, I have some SQL queries used for reporting that take a lot of brain power to look at and alter. I can read today, I promise. Nerdherder greeted, Dukasoft, DC Aggie's here. I've inherited enough nightmares, it distracts me from the nightmares I might be creating. Yes. I think I'm at the point where I can't really call any of the code the original code because I've touched so much of it. I mean, there are still some things that are only lift and shift code, but for the most part, I've manipulated just about all of the code. So anything that's left as a nightmare is my own doing. Dukasoft said, I guess I need to learn me some clean architecture thingy. I mentioned this on TBD stream, but one of the reasons that I think I don't like to name, unless I said this on Wednesday, in which case I apologize for being so repetitive. One of the things that I like is freedom, the freedom to change my mind and follow my own gut instinct on how a thing should be done. And I think that I'm disciplined enough to stick to a pattern that I am establishing and continue to do things that way. So I don't necessarily search for the names of patterns that I might be employing. I just hope that I am consistent in the way that I approach things. So yeah, this that you see on screen is the current state of where I'm at. I have tried to do this edge detection thing, and that's just not, it's not doing what I want it to. So an example is, let's say that wait, are these the new mountains or not? What's your name? What's your name? These are not the new mountains. Why didn't the new mountains get updated? What made you choose this? You're so obsessed with my hair. I didn't cut my hair yet. I haven't cut my hair for a while. And so after I get out of the shower, I walk over to my wife and she just kind of does this hand thing and my hair ends up like this. Thank you for asking, I guess. I tried and gave up after 5 months. I have really thick, curly hair. And I got lazy. That's how I chose this hairstyle. Sorry if it's underwhelming to hear that. Thyrovius. This is how it looks when he wakes up. I wake up like this. How about this? Here's a better answer that will probably have you running and screaming. It makes me feel closer. Oh, geez. Okay, thank you. It makes me feel closer to one of the characters that lives in my head. His name is Wan Shu. He usually has a warrior bun in most of his incarnations. So like in Lineage, he was a human dagger and he wore a circlet, clan circlet, so that his hair would be essentially slicked back like this. In Forsaken World, he was also a rogue, or I forget what it's called in Forsaken World, what the dagger class is called. but he had the hairstyle that was like braided on one side and then back into a warrior bun with the loose hair on the bottom. Yeah, that's just how he looks in most of them. But my hair is black and his hair is like auburn gold sometimes. So it also makes me feel like Angie, which is who this computer is named after, who is a dark elf archer, but he has his hair is different. Is that better? Is that a good answer? Okay. Dukasoff says that's how he looks when he wakes up. I read that. I'm really good at this. I was talking about length, not particularly the style. Man bun. Yeah, it's a man bun. I can't argue with that. But I don't really. Anyway, Nerdharder says I have one piece of software out there that is wildly complex, and when I look at the code, I want to vomit. This is R-Track for me, but would not get paid to refactor it because it works. So anytime I have to work on it, I get the garbage can nearby. This is R-Track. Gilgamesh said to Dukasoft you were trying out Rust? I think this is in response to the clean architecture comment, maybe. I don't know how that's related to what he said. But Dukasoft said, can't say I've ever thought about trying Rust. Okay, I am over here on Thyrobius. I wish I had like imagery that I could share of all of these characters, because they're all cool. I like them a lot. The characters from the story. E4 bed, because everything is ed. You just add ed or a to the beginning of it. Ave. And then you get the British pronunciation of the letters. Okay, let us submit updated mountains or something. Submit. And I kept trying to do the shader stuff. Oh my goodness. I really do not like Perforce. Those were deleted, dear sir or madman. Mark for delete. Mark for delete. Mark. Oh my goodness, this app. Wow. What an enjoyable experience is what I'm trying to say. You guys should try this. If you're a Unity developer, definitely give Perforce a try. Especially if you've never used it before. And you have stuff that, you know, you're just doing for fun. It'll definitely take the fun out of it. You don't have to worry about that whole fun thing. Yeah, fun. What was I thinking? The source control? Yep. British. President not sure is here. I'm saying dear sir madman in my head all the time now. I'm sorry. I mean, kind of sorry, kind of not sorry. It's just what I say. It's just what I say. It comes out. How about dearest friend? Oh gosh. Mountains unwrapped UV obj. The file could not be found. Do I have to uncheck all of those again? What are the chances? What are the chances that I need to uncheck all of the files that I just unchecked? Not very high. But where are the new mountains? Oh dear. Okay, so I did. This is the state that it was on Wednesday or whenever it was that I showed this. Mountains. The mountains may fall and the hills turn to. But I can't get source control to accept my changes. Where are my new mountains? Models, mountains, mark for add. Maybe I need to do that. Let's try this. Mark for add. And then head over to the depot. And all of my existing mountains are already deleted. So why? Hawaii. Added UV unwrapped mountains. Go. Oh my gosh. Ignore these. Are you going to tell us more about the thingy that you're working on, Nerd Herder? I want to hear. I want to hear more about that instead. Oh, well. Since you asked, I did ask, and I am curious about it. Okay, get laced. And there go my new mountains. Some files are read only. Okay, that's fine. Okay, are you gonna update with my stuff? So DC Aggie says it can be hard to accept changes. Taken out of context, that's perfect. We're way up here anyway. President Not Sure was laughing at the inside joke. It'll be an inside joke. In fact, let's make it merch and give it away for free, I hope. Merchandising. That's where the real money's made. Okay. Reload, please. There we go. Okay, so this is the current state of the scene that I'm trying to turn into essentially the background for the Full 9 Creative Channel stream. And hopefully something that can be interacted with eventually, so where you can move through the scene. Maybe I'll do stuff like hide various things behind mountains and you go through the scene somehow and find them, find whatever the thing is and get something from it. This thingy here I am really wanting to replace with skybox slash 2D flat orange sun with the bands through it. Ooh, we got text. Okay, so Nerd Herder is saying, oh, I'm gonna wait until you're done typing because it'll be easier maybe. I do like this particle effect, but the particle effect itself was scaled up from a tutorial, and the original over here. Como se llama? The original was much, much smaller and looks better when it's smaller. I think it was even smaller than this. Can I pull you out here so we can see what you are in world coordinates? Okay, so it's still 6 times bigger than it was. There we go. Okay, so this is what it used to look like, and I think Nerd Herder is done typing, so let's read. Nerd Herder is talking about the project, so I'm working on a few different things, but the thing mentioned above came up in a conversation today, and the client wants to add some automation functionality to it. I love automation, which is great and all, but my skill set is so different than when I initially wrote it. It really needs a lot of refactoring to properly implement the requested changes. It's a mess. A lot of it is like a giant transaction script, and I hate it. I have code all over the place. In short, I need to move/rewrite a whole bunch of code just to implement the one new thing. For example, client says to me, we need a way to import data from other labs into our existing database, and we would like you to put it in the RTrack application. And the RTrack application, as we all know by now, is a .NET Framework 4.8, 4.7.2 MVC application. Yeah. So, and all of the methods and stuff are done through stored procedures. All of the record checks, all of the getting data from the server, they're stored procedures. So I am saying this not to tell you that I got it worse than you, but to truly empathize with your situation. I can understand. Okay, let's get these tests over here. But please continue typing if you feel like it. If you have the availability to, I will continue reading. Baby I, baby I, baby I, J. Where are my tests? Hello. That. Okay. Are these only tests? I believe they are only tests. Product version of this, I will eventually be shifting to only using this library, the open source version, as soon as I get a NuGet package created for it. And then all of the additional development work will be done on that. We need to rename space. All of you say this. 87 references, goodness gracious. Okay. The difficulty is going to be our usings. Wow, those are not implemented, huh? These are not implemented. No. It even renamespaced my usings. Renamed the namespace for my imports. Weird. So weird. And in fact, what I'm probably going to do to make this easier in the future is to go ahead and once we're done with the conditional operations and stuff, I'm going to make my repo look like the one that's on GitHub, so I don't have to worry about renaming things and... Oh dear. It's okay. I think my YouTube stream is very finicky. That's okay though. So yeah, let's see if it builds then, if it already did all of my namespace updating. Oh, but there's so much that I need to do right now. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get this all done. And it's like, I get the feeling that I need to do it all right now at the same time. So Nerd Herder is continuing saying, but the thing I initially brought up was that the custom report I wrote for a client, which is in Power BI and uses a lot of custom SQL to build a data set. And I was just looking at it and it is taking 40+ minutes to refresh the data. No es bueno. And I really don't want to look at it because it will take me an hour just to figure out what and why it is doing what it does, then even longer to refactor it. I know what you mean. I feel your pain. Hello, TBD Gamer. Happy Friday to you. I hope things are going smooth today. I know you're a bit on the worn out side, but I am sending you lots and lots of love and rejuvenating energy. Why does my iData file mapper not have selected import rows? Did I copy over the right tests? Yeah, you're very welcome. So if you guys don't know TBD Gamer, he's a .NET developer working in a few technologies. I say .NET developer, but do you just want to be called developer, period? Because you work in more technologies than just .NET. He does a lot of stuff. Like his UI is in Angular. He works with Kafka. He works with Confluent, I think. He just works with a lot of really, really cool technologies. So check out his stream if you are interested. Primarily .NET, so it's not inaccurate. Okay, cool. It is here. iData file mapper state dot selected rows. Oh, you know what? That's probably not the actual error that's happening. Okay, yes. All of these things that I put value transformation is now called... Wait. They are called value transformations now. No, they aren't. What am I doing? Okay. I need to switch back to main. Thank goodness I don't have any changes that I need to shelve. You just do a lot of stuff around the edges. Yeah, cool. And if you are also interested in seeing his journey with experiencing Blazor on a more involved project, he is remaking, I guess. He's remaking and fully fleshing out a project he started a while ago called developers.stream. And that project he does on Mondays and Fridays. So give him a follow to see when he goes live next. Okay, we're going to re-pull this stuff over. and then rename space again. Okay. So one of the issues is in our previous stream for our current branch, we renamed the folder that has all of our value transformations from valued operations, transform operations to value transformations. And the reason is because we now have a thing called a conditional operation, and that would deobfuscate it. That would make it easier to parse mentally and understand what's in what folder. And yes, there they go. The tests built. So let's see what, if any, tests. Which way should I say it? Passes. That's a very negative way of saying it. See what, if any, tests fail. There are 99 tests on the wall. 103 tests on the wall. Yes, thank you, Dukasoft. Shout out to Big Gamey, who also gave me a shout out on his channel. All right. Run all tests, please. I didn't even start a branch. And look at that. All tests passed. All the changes that we've made so far have not broken any of the existing tests. However, there are some changes that I made that I did not add tests for, which is kind of sad. The conditional rule. They're crazy. The conditional rule, conditional value transformation is what I'm trying to say. That we are currently working on doesn't have any tests written for it at all, and I need to add it to the tests. Because right now those tests should be failing, and we should be working on getting them to not fail. But for now, what we're going to do is create a branch. Wait, was there already a branch for this? Set up NuGet. No. Okay. Pull latest, just in case. We're at latest. And no upstreams. All right. Delete this local one. Create a new branch that is called added. Oh, wait, dang it. I said what? New issue. Add tests library. Ask. Sign myself. Type. Add import library. But as you all know, any of you can share anything that you may be interested in sharing. Today is a great day to go over things that you are working on, things that you would like help with, or things that you just want to show. Maybe you don't want help with it. Maybe you just want to show something cool or interesting or whatever. That is what today is for. Please do. Pass 12. Add tests library. Bring changes. DC Aggie says, in TDD, a test that doesn't initially fail is a test that proves nothing. I've always found that part fascinating, even though it makes perfect sense. Step 1, write a test that fails. Step 2, write code that will make the test pass. Like, that concept makes perfect sense, like you're saying. The thing that never really made sense to me is because it's not explicitly stated when a lot of people are talking about TDD, and even in the name, it's test-driven development. You write a test. I actually need to answer this. Dang it. I'll be right back. Any good lip readers? Lip readers out there? So the thing that isn't explicitly stated when people typically talk about TDD is stubbing out the methods. Like, I'm thinking, like, to myself, it's like we write a test that fails, so I will stub out the test method that says throw new not implemented exception for this test name. I mean, obviously, it fails. But writing the actual arrange, act, assert stuff for the test doesn't make sense unless you have methods stubbed out in your interface in your abstract class, which hopefully you're using that for your testing. So it's like step 1 of TDD is stub out your methods. Put the method declaration in your interface or abstract class, or even concrete class if you are testing a concrete class, which is totally fine. Then write your test, and then so you're still doing a design-driven design, closely followed by a data-driven or a test-driven design. So you still need to design out your methodology, your approach to it before writing the test. At least that's how I understand it. Okay, so I'm gonna read the rest of the words. TBD says, it's a hard practice to fall into. Dukasoff says, but what if you made a mistake in the test that makes it fail when it shouldn't? Then you update the test. It shouldn't be often that you update the test, but sometimes refactors require you to update tests. And then TBD said, it's not perfect. What you need to do is make sure you're confident that the tests are actually validating stuff. It's easy to write cheat tests. Absolutely. Tyron says, you're starting to sound like me. TBD said, you write a test to make you write the code. You don't write the code if there is no test making you do it. It's also okay to write tests that you then go on to remove if need be. Yeah, so is my thought, according to what you understand of TBD, about stubbing out the methods still correct? Or are you actually writing the test and creating like a call in that test to, like, let's say I was writing a new test for my value transformation types, and it was public void some test fact, also fact, whatever it is, and I am using sure, why not this var concrete class is op type dot create new instance, and we know that this is going to be a value transformation base of some sort, and so now I'm adding some method to value transformation base. So my act is my range, And I know that you don't really like having the act and arrange steps inside of the test, so if you can ignore that part, just assume that I'm writing the act and arrange stuff in a separate helper or loader or whatever that lives outside of the test. And the only thing my test is doing is acting and asserting, I guess. So then my result is concrete class dot new method I'm implementing. And even though I haven't stubbed out this method yet in the abstract class, it's still the thing that I'm testing. And then assert all the things that I think I'm going to be asserting on, like properties of the thing that this returns and the actual type, the nullability of it. So whatever I'm testing against this method that I haven't even stubbed out yet to know what the return type is, I'm still writing the test for it first. And then I go to my abstract class, stub out the method, my implementing classes implement it, kind of thing. Okay, that's my question. President Not Sure said, TDD makes you think about the code that consumes the code that you're going to write in a very explicit way, and making your code unit testable from the get-go tends to make it more modular, which makes things easier to interchange and move stuff around. I wholeheartedly agree, and I want to adopt that as my standard practice. TBD said, I normally start off, I'm adding words to your statement. It's right there. It's written down. I don't need to think. Just read the words. I normally start by writing out the facts of what I want to test without code. Then go and fill in the pieces necessary to test that, even if the code doesn't exist. Okay. Then create the bare minimum code needed to make the test run. Sometimes that first test passes, so you go and write a test that is likely going to make it fail. Then you come back and make it pass again. Okay, so that is kind of the approach, which is just go ahead and write out the object dot thing you're testing, even if you haven't, or not even if you haven't, before even going to that place and creating the method step. Okay, because like the thing that I keep hearing is in test-driven development, you start by writing a test that fails. But is a non-compiling test library considered a test that fails, or is that just it's a test that has undetermined results because you can't run the test at all? So I was hung up on that, is what I'm trying to say. I know it's not like a major massive thing, but it's just something that I was hung up on for a while until I started doing the approach that I'm taking now, which is at least stub out the method in the interface or abstract class and then write the test immediately after without writing any logic. Okay. President Not Sure says, it's hard for me to do a lot of TDD when I inherit an existing code base. Yeah, that's another one. I don't think you necessarily have to follow TDD rigidly. Yeah, and I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to adopt better practices, easier approaches. Once you've got used to writing tests, writing some tests will... Oh, I don't think you necessarily have to follow TDD rigidly once you've gotten used to writing. Once you've got used to writing tests, writing some tests, making sure you fill the gaps when you can. It's more important that you are confident your tests have value and will capture the cases you understand. Cool. Zon says, I don't know how you guys adhere to TDD. It produces so much more test code and hard to be as productive. It is harder to be productive, but it's a lot harder to have new bugs arise in your code or bugs that aren't noticed until the user gets a hold of it. I test edge cases in some aspects of code, but I left testing as throughly. I'm not sure what word that last one is supposed to be. thoroughly. I am not sure I understand the last sentence. I test edge cases in some aspects of code, but you don't test as thoroughly. You just do the edge cases. DC Aggie says, it is okay if it fails to compile, but you haven't succeeded in getting a failing test until it runs and fails. Yeah. Dukesoft says, I don't write tests at all, but again, my projects are kind of small. It's still good practice to learn if you are able to try it out. I like it personally. It's my opinion. It's my thought that it will improve the quality of your code, make your code less prone to errors, and what's the other word I'm looking for? Regression bugs. You know the ones. Like, I don't test every path possible. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what TBD was saying. So you're probably doing it right, if there is a such thing as right in this case. Oh geez. Where you're only testing the things that you think add value. Like, your tests that you do end up writing, that you do use your dev time on, are only tests that you think are valuable to write, and that they are covering the things that really matter. I don't test queries. I don't test API interaction unless there's something other than storing I'm doing with the result. Yeah. So I think you and TBD are saying the same thing in that regard. It's just our individual definitions of what tests are valuable are the things that are going to differ. Because that's what I just said. It lets you fearlessly refactor and modify code. This is DC Aggie saying this, and me wholeheartedly agreeing so far, because it should immediately show if your change has an ill effect or not, at least from the perspective of whatever you are testing for. Yes, I am agreeing with that wholeheartedly. Speaking of, though, the way that I wrote some of these tests, not all of them, obviously, but the way that I wrote some of these tests is that I will create an instance of the value transformation base from the enum, which means if I add an enum, then I should also be adding that for those other tests that I'm thinking of, that will also get automatically added because I'm doing enum.get values and then listing out all of the enums. Wait, why does it say all tests pass and one not run? No. Was it because I made some changes accidentally? Yeah, probably. Okay, and a shout out to Thindle. Thindle is another amazing .NET developer who works in .NET Framework. Well, early .NET all the way up through .NET Core and modern technology, and he will just show you an entire lifetime of modernizing legacy applications, getting things to work. What's going on here? I'm confused. Oh, I think we're done with this. We can make this go away. Sparkle, sparkle. Hello, Netrunner. Happy Friday to you. One day I'll get back to that. TBD says, TDD. It takes me a minute to shift from saying TBD to TDD. Okay, TDD and also TBD. You can start this off with saying TBD. TDD and TBD is a useful tool to have in the tool belt. It's something I wish I was better at. But again, important to remember that a test doesn't save you from yourself. If your tests are fragile, that fragility will burn you. Yeah. Friday payday for Netrunner. Happy Friday payday for you. My paydays are typically around the 15th, but it's net 30, so anytime from the beginning of the month until the end of the month. Okay. Did it build? Did the errors go away? No, I still see errors. But it built. Okay. So we're fine. These are fine. Added tests from work from other version. TBD is a useful tool for sure. No, not a tool. A tool. You know? Not like the negative way of people calling other people tool. No. I'm a tool. Oh, I was supposed to say this. Gilgamesh, since you asked about my hair, I will pass on the kind words to my stylist. Okay. Let's go back. I'm reopening Visual Studio because I want to make sure that those errors go away before I commit this to the repo and do a pull request. So what else is going on in your software development lives or technology lives? For me, it takes two work items to overwhelm me nowadays. I don't know what's going on. Like, I was used to needing to bug fix 5 or 6 applications at the same time. And now it was like, one user emailed me because they needed access to AWS. And I'm currently working on the data import utility. And it was like, okay, I'm frozen for like 2 minutes. How do I resolve this? Just send them a message back saying, here's some information about what would be needed for that. But then when I started writing that message, I started thinking about how can I make this easier in the future? Because I don't want to have to manually do stuff every single time. I love automation. I don't want to have to manually do stuff every single time someone is like, I need access to server. I need direct access from where I am currently located to server. And so I'm like, it would probably be easy enough to have a portal page that they can log into and say, register my current information to allow me direct access to the servers. So this is someone that needed access to our license server for ArcGIS so that they can run ArcGIS on their local machine and just connect to the license server that's running in the cloud. I didn't give them a license file because that took some more information on figuring out how to do that. So I did it the way that I knew how, which is here's a license server that has a whole bunch of concurrent licenses. You log into ArcGIS, have it point to the license server, and it gives you access to the application. But what if I'm at home? What if I'm not on site and I don't have direct access? Then you need to send me this information. And then they sent me the information, and because they aren't into this space, they didn't know that the private IP address or the internal IP address or the LAN IP address, 127 or the 10.0s and 192.168s don't really help in this situation. So I needed to send them information about how to get the public IP. And while I was doing that, I'm like, it'd be so easy to write an app that they log into, click the button, I would get their IP address at that point in time, and then either send myself an email to update it or a message, which again defeats the purpose of not wanting to manually do stuff, or create the rule. But then I need to research how to do that. And and I'm in the middle of this. Oh, no worries, no worries. I hope no one ever feels like they have to join voice in order to participate in Community Day. I appreciate the time that you did spend talking with us. So Dukisoft took a lurk for a bit, and TBD is saying I would join voice, but I'm off to PT for in a short while, so best not. I decided yesterday to disconnect from Discord, stream, etc. for a couple of days. Good for you. So I have been listening to audiobooks on Staff Engineer Journey. Awesome, very cool. I find it quite interesting, that idea that I've been highly technical and connected for years, but now I'm expected to step back, guide, and mentor others. This kind of sounds like an episode of that show Dinosaurs. Is that what it was called? Not the mama. Where they're kind of honoring these traditions of when a dinosaur gets old, they're expected to go to the top of this cliff and jump into a tar pit, even if they still feel like they have life left in them. Like, now that you've gotten this far, TBD gamer, your role is no longer to write software. It is to pass on your knowledge to the new people. Let them write code. That's what that sounded like. Made me sad. And TBD continued saying, and that I can apparently have days where I might feel like I don't get much done, but the amount of thought I'm putting into initiatives is more than I realize. Absolutely. Abso-flippin-lutely. That one is probably the toughest for me. There is no physical or observable, measurable output that I can gauge how much did I get done today or this week or this month. And it just feels like I'm spinning my wheels. And that is very disheartening. That's something I struggle with really hard. But I do realize that there is a lot of stuff that I am doing, and not all of it is putting code on in an editor. Yeah. Okay. So I have refreshed. I do not see any red squigglies. I'm gonna push this to the repo. Then we're gonna create a pull request, and then we're gonna switch to that other branch for setting up the NuGet packages and synchronize it with main. And we're gonna do it all. Ready? 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 Prepare. You guys are my reviewers. Thank you so much for reviewing my code. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I do use these. Oh, I use the word completes. I like resolves. Completes and there we go. Completes and closes task number 19, task number 12, the end. Okay. So we added all of our test files, and we deleted the one placeholder test class. Create, and we made sure that the tests passed. And you guys are reviewing this for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You sent back a word that's like, and that's it. You're like, figure it out, dude. Like, like, you know what? I'm just gonna force merge because I have the power. I learned this from my previous team that this is how pull requests go. Okay, one thing that I would want to learn, if anyone feels like teaching me and sharing your knowledge with the rest of the community as well, is now that we have tests in the library, how can I update the actions to require that tests pass? Or even the pull request process to require that the tests pass? That's one thing. But, and it's a big one, I'm going to pull main because now we're merged. We got latest. This branch got deleted because I clean up my branches. I don't just leave them out there. Shame on you for doing this. And I am going to merge main into this branch so that it can be up to date. Why are you saying you have outgoing changes though? Oh, from the merge. Oh. I'm paying attention. What? Hundreds and hundreds of dangly branches. I don't see what the issue could be. I did hear a good argument for squash commits. Or squash merges, sorry. I still don't think that I could get myself to do that. Like, how rare is it that one, yeah, this entire scenario, how rare would this be? You need to find where some code was changed in a previous commit, in a previous branch, and either revert it or find out the original way to use that as inspiration to refactor blah 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 blah, or you need to find who did it so you can do blame. So how rare is it that you would use the commit history to search for a commit message? So one, that that there is a commit message talking about the specific thing you're looking for, and two, that you will find from one commit work done on that specific class that you're looking for. So to my understanding, when you do a squash merge, you're taking all of the work that was done in that branch, squashing it into one commit, and then merging that into all of that history into main as one commit. So chances are that you would be looking for a file or for specific code as opposed to a specific commit message that's talking about the one thing that you're looking for that probably doesn't even say anything to do with what you're looking for. So it's a great argument for it. If you're doing small commits like you should, it's not harmful. If you're squashing weeks worth of work, well, yeah, so it's not necessarily small commits, it's small PRs. PRs that are centered around one task or one feature or one, I guess, one task of a feature. Tyrant says, we squash all PR merges to main. The PR message is the commit message at that point. Yeah. And I think it was you that posed the, and I'm using argument in the lightest term possible in the this is not a bad thing kind of phrase. but you pose the argument for squash merging. And it's starting to sink in. After explaining it out loud, I'm like, I think I want to start doing that. Well, hello, back. Wait, that says not back. Okay, so Dukasoft is not back yet. This statement is a lie. Broken. Okay, so this is updated. I guess we may as well finish out the setup NuGet setups if we haven't already. Where is my eyeball? Has anyone seen my eyeball? Directory.build.props. Okay, as I have mentioned in the past, but if this is your first time seeing directory.build.props, you can place a file named directory.build.props in any level of any folder structure level of your solution. And what will happen is that when you do a build, the csproj description definition file, the csproj file will inherit in a cascading way all of the properties from directory.build.props in that directory up. That directory up. So if I had a directory.build.props that was only in the project folder that has the data import utility would be the only one of these that get the directory.build.props. Get the property groups and other groups, item groups from that directory.build.props. All right, TBD, enjoy your PT. Actually, yeah, enjoy your PT. I hope you have a fun time at your PT, or an enjoyable time at least, and that you're able to find some enjoyment in doing it. But you also have a great weekend. See you when you stream next. Okay, so what I am doing with my directory.build.props is I'm putting it at the solution level for the data import utility library, so that every single one of my projects in that library get all of these properties. So target framework, language version, generate package on build, generate documentation file. So this is what generates the NuGet package, or instructs the compiler to generate the NuGet package. This just helps me so that all of my public properties and methods and objects, one, get a green squiggly if I don't put a comment on them, but two, it also exposes those comments within the NuGet package to anyone that's consuming that NuGet package. This here is a property group for if the version isn't being specified through this build process, then the version number for the NuGet package is going to default to 1.0.0.0. If any parts of these are specified, then they will get used instead. But if any of them are not specified, like if version is not specified, but the major version number is specified, then the rest will default to .0.0.0. And then the rest of the version number is put together. I don't like csproj files. Good thing this isn't a csproj file. Good thing this is directory.build.props. And then of course for the NuGet package, the authors, the copyright, package release notes, which I have not been updating. Actually, there is no note for this because even though I did add the test, it's not updating the NuGet package itself. Doing well, Thindle. I hope you are doing well as well. Also, almost at 100%. I hope. Hope. I did read through the response that you gave to my response, and I appreciate it a lot. I am warmer to CS Proj and MS Build in general after using Gradle. I'm warmer to it after using the original CS Proj, which, I mean, I did like the whole right click and you get a GUI for it, which you still do. So right click, properties. Here's all of your settings for your CS Proj. But it really is easy enough to modify it using XML. I don't mind it. Still coughing a bit when I try talking, but when I'm quiet, I'm good. Back at it soon. Missing it. Awesome. Hi. Resident Usher says, oh yeah, the old kind that you couldn't modify inside Visual Studio. Yeah. Or you could, but you would have to unload the project, right click property, or right click edit or something. And then you would get the whatever format that used to be called. I know it has a name. It's still XML at least, which is disgusting, is what it was. Wait, yeah, you could. I know I'm crazy and all, but am I that crazy? Okay, here's a .NET Framework project that you can't double click on the project and open the CS progeny. So you'd have to right click, unload project, or right click the project file. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I am crazy. I'm very crazy. And also, I wasn't incorrect about this part. Yes. XML, for those who saw HTML and thought, that's not much markup for something with the word markup in the name. Come on, guys. Get good. Okay. Close. We don't need that. Oh, let's close our track because after Nerd Herder's story, it's already giving me PTSD and it's like, we don't need to go there yet. We'll look at that again. My trash can is currently full. I don't have space for mouth projectiles. XML is great. You could use XSLT. For those of you that don't know, that's style sheets for XML. And then XDTF, XDFT. Anyway, or is that one the schema one? XSLT, XSLT. It's a transformation, right? Or wait, yeah. Extensible style sheet language transformation. Is language originally designed for transforming Excel documents into other XML documents or other formats such as HTML for web pages, plain text, or XSL formatting objects, these formats. So is XSL specifically the one that had the styles? Point is, it was just for transforming. Jason, for those who saw XML and that, and said, yeah, no way I'm dealing with this. True. That's how I built my first Spa. Although he wants me to read out the letters. I'm so lazy. Back before they were cool. I'd love a hot spa. Oh. Okay. What else is there? How to offend? Anyway. I don't just build a spa. I didn't just build a spa. I built a spa framework before Angular. Just like I built Blazor server / WebAssembly before Blazor web app. Not very good though. It was terrible. Just like a prayer. Linking a pull request. Thank you. How do I go back to one line? It is projects. No, repositories. I don't know how to do this. Blazor template. Blazor WASM client only template. Blazor WASM EF. Template. Wait, what? Blazor WASM client only template? Was there? There is no way that there wasn't a Blazor WASM client only template. That's existed forever. What even is this project, kid? Probably just my scaffolded template. I guess it was this Maui Blazor web template. It had Maui project. Where's Maui project? It had a Maui project. It had the Blazor WASM client server. It had a server only. This looks like it's missing a lot. And then the yeah, so here's the Maui app. Here's the Blazor WASM app. Here's the server app. And there should be an API layer somewhere in here. And then the shared app that has all of our interfaces. And then the UI that everything used. Okay. You just really want me to say XSLT. It's really hard to say. Ajax, and it didn't have to be XML. Yes! Oh, I loved Ajax. Thindle said, I sent over XSLT templates on first load, stored them in memory. Then when someone navigated, I did a get request and got XML data that I ran through the template on the client and presented it to the user. So product page request was the only product data. Them's the days. Used SOAP. I use SOAP every day. DC Aggie says, I love that XML can be validated, transformed, etc. But for 90% of my serialization needs, JSON is 10% of the effort. Way more human readable, in my opinion, and hasn't failed me yet. Yes. Still agree with you. You're saying so many truisms that all I can say is, I agree. Okay. Does this mean that we're done already? That we've already set up the NuGet package generation? So if we did a build, and that's why Jason went out, says President not sure. If we did a build, then yeah, we're getting the NuGet package. Right, and then the one override is that I think that I am skipping generate package on build for the source generator. But I don't think that that's something I should be doing if I'm going to allow extensibility on this. And we're going to have reason to do extensibility in a project that consumes the data import utility. And we're going to see if it works the way that I'm expecting it to. It's going to be fun. So, according to this, we're getting our NuGet packages. So what I think our next step is, aside from cleaning up all of these missing... Oh, these are from tests. Should we... What is the... You know what word I'm looking for, right? What is the standard approach for tests in a library? In a NuGet package, I mean, NuGet library that is hosted on NuGet.org. Are the tests published as NuGet packages too? Or is it safe for me to generate package on build false for the test library? Maybe. And also generate XML, generate document file. Do you use a source folder or do you place everything inside the root of the solution? Yes to both. So I place my solution inside of the source folder and I place everything at the same place as the root of the solution. So, for example, open folder. Squishy this down like so. Por ejemplo, my NuGet package for the data import utility, this is root for that project, which has the README, it has the license, my git ignore stuff, it has the GitHub actions, workflows. Then there is the source folder that has my solutions. The reason that I have two folders here instead of just the solution here, which is what I would normally do, is that I have two solutions that are intended to be kept secret, kept separate. Gosh, these words. What are words? Because this is the core library that is the main meat of the repository, and then this is just a samples app that references that library so that we can test it out while we're developing for it. Then it says, I've started putting things in a source. But that's because some terrible, terrible people want me to document things too. Speaking of, we should do some documentation. That's a great idea, Findle. Okay, so let's get this NuGet package thing done. I think what I was really, really wanting to do is, you know what? I said that the workflow was in that top folder bubble. But I didn't actually see the workflow for... Oh, because we didn't create one for this project, did we? I was like, didn't Findle already walk us through creating a workflow for building this project? And he was just helping us with the workflow for the GitHub pages for this one. Okay, so I need a new workflow. Is that you, Big Gamey? I think that's Big Gamey. Sorry, I'm eating my lips, and you just made me bite all the way through my lip, and now it's hanging off. Ill. Gratuitous. Great stream earlier, though. Fantastic times on Big Gamey's stream. So many interactions, and he's still adding more. Oh, come on, just let go. I didn't realize you were having lunch. Shouldn't this squirrel be covering you? True. I was asking this because Patrick God has this solution and then source folder and then projects folder. Interesting. And I look up to Patrick God. He's taller than me. No, I really like a lot of the approaches Patrick God takes, except for repository pattern. Not a fan of it. But that's just me. And apparently now this solution structure. I guess I should say solution folder structure because I still love the way his solution structure looks inside of Visual Studio. Hey, everything's working. Stop it, Lip. I need to go put some Aquaphor on once we're done with Community Day before we switch to the Workday stream. But I need to create a new workflow. And this workflow is going to be to take the NuGet package that gets generated, making sure to pass. I'm going to try to pronounce this in the way that you have it phonetically or semi-phonetically spelled out, but I think I'm going to fail at this. Squirrel and never squirrel. 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 There we go. I got it. Do I say squirrel or squirrel? Do you notice? I don't really know what I say. Squirrel. I think I try to put 2 syllables in there. Squirrel. Unless I was actually saying squirrel. In which case that would just be for fun. Oh dear. Big Game is already starting to fight automated realms. My goodness. So Big Gamey says to Automated Realms, we're gonna fight. And Automated Realms is like, hey Big Gamey, it seems like you're getting ready for a battle. Remember to keep your cool and stay focused. Good luck. He meant that he's gonna fight you, Automated Realms. Pay attention. Special kid. Okay, I need a pipeline, a workflow to take the NuGet packages that are so first to build, test, NuGet packages, see that the NuGet packages get generated, version the NuGet packages while generating them. So I need a way to specify the version number based on the build number. And then take those NuGet packages and move them to release. That said, does anyone know how to do it? ChatGPT does. Yes. Naming things is hard. What do I call the pipeline for building the NuGet packages. Because it's not building the NuGet packages, it's building the project and bundling it as a NuGet package. Build for NuGet. Let's ask. See if it's safe to ask. Duh, gosh, it's so easy to name things. I keep thinking it's hard to name things. Build NuGet Duca bundle package. Duh. Duh, duh, duh. Da, da, da. Sure, we'll use Gemini too. So I'm going to use Gemini instead of Copilot, unless you mean Copilot in Visual Studio, in which case we can just do that here. We'll ask Gemini though. I have a like the song da da da. It's been a long time since I've heard that song or even thought about it. I don't know why I thought about it just now. Great, now I have to buy a Volkswagen. It was a Volkswagen commercial, wasn't it? The urge has passed. Wow, that was quick. I still want the VW ID7. I mean the UVIT ID7. UVIT. I have a GitHub repository that I would like to create a workflow that will workflow 4 that will build, test, and generate and push the generated star.new package to a location that I can then release in the releases portion of GitHub. It's probably like it's reading what I'm typing. This is just what I imagine while I'm doing this. It's reading while I'm typing, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get the information ready for, he's gonna ask me how to create the workflow. Here's the code for it. I've got it ready. What should I name the workflow? Wait, what? But it's I don't want to release yet. True or false? You decide. I decide true, true, true. Woo. Yes. Netrunner says the Ivan, the Uvet, or something. Ivan, Igor, Arfield. Wait, are these real things? Oh, ID7. You were asking what I was talking about. I wanted a VW ID7, which is an electric vehicle that was supposed to be released last year, and I was planning on finally getting an electric vehicle last year, which I did. Just something that I wasn't expecting, and it's working out perfectly too. But the reason that that this vehicle, that this one in particular stood out to me was, actually there were two things. I really do like the style of it. Even though it's blocky and chunky and stuff, in my opinion, it's still sleek. And the inside looked good, in my opinion. But the other one was that it has a HUD. So right here, it would show you an actual augmented reality HUD. An augmented reality hub, complete with navigation, where to turn next. It's tracing the lines on the road for you, so you know that you're in line with the road. So it has some pretty cool technology on it. However, and then the BYD, oh my gosh, that's also not coming to the US, but the BYD seal, I loved that one the most. I love the body style of that one, and sounds like it's got great charge mileage, great mileage per charge. But yeah, so I really like this, and it was going to be coming to the US last year, and then they're like, it's actually going to get delayed, probably for about 2 years. It's like, what? Will it still be the ID7 at that point in time? So anyway, no VW ID7. What I ended up getting was a Nissan Ariya, which looks very odd to me from the outside, but it gets me from point A to point B, 300 miles per charge, and it lives up to it, by the way. And it also ended up having a HUD. It's not AR, but it is a HUD. And it's really nice because it displays speed, your cruise control, your follow distance from the car in front. Good old Datsun. But yeah, BYD Seal, I love how those look. Beautiful, beautiful car. I'm not really a car person though, but yeah, these definitely are visually appealing to me. And the technology in them is pretty cool too. I'm happy with the Aria. I'm saying this one out loud because I'm really surprised at the price that we got it for. It's brand new 2024 Nissan Aria that we're leasing, and we're leasing it at $209 a month for 2 years, which is insane. Like, car payments currently are somewhere between $300 and $500 a month. But yeah, I really like it. It drives smooth. It's comfortable. The lane assist, the e-pedal, the B driving mode. So when I get in the car and turn it on, I change it to eco, B driving mode, e-pedal, and that makes it to where you're almost one pedal driving. The cool thing is that since it's assisted cruise control, the magical kind that will automatically speed up and slow down based on the car in front of you, it will come to a complete stop at stoplights and hold, and then you just push this little knobby when the car in front of you starts moving, and then it'll start following them again, accelerating and decelerating on its own. It's a very nice. Not that I've really driven it all that much, but it's nice when I have to drive it. Last time we drove it was to go to the Arsenal, the wildlife refuge, and go for a walk. It's cool. So, and recommend if you're in the market for an electric vehicle, but there are other ones out there that probably more technologically cool and better mileage per charge currently. Can't wait for our 2,000 mile vehicle to come out. Yeah, I think build, test, publish would be the best one for this. Yeah, we're gonna go with build, test, publish. I like that. Simple and descriptive. I'll keep that. Runs on, checkout, setup net core. This is what we need to change. So this is the step where we need to build the solution. We want to build the entire solution. And any of you that do have experience with this, you can tell me if I'm not doing this in the right order. Run the tests. If the tests succeed, move the not deploy. We won't be deploying any sites anywhere. Move the new package files. Is there a thing like an artifact store in a NuGet repository? Like these releases here, I'm assuming that there is an action that gets created when you create a release. That is your release. But is there like a staging folder? Source. Sauce. Can I just write like, no, I don't want to do */solution because that'll build also the sample site. Sauce, data import utility. Why am I alt tabbing? Did I just do that? No, because I'm not in GitHub. That's yes. Okay, so that's what we're going to build. We're going to build the entire solution, which will also build our test. And from that, we will run tests. So name test. Is this actually a thing? Like I've never ever run tests because I don't really did tests in the past. This is the one with the solution, right? Project file does not exist. Oh, duh. Because relativity. Awesome. So Tyrant is right again. Copilot does know how to write these for me. And look, test errors. Yay! No reference exception. How's that even possible? There should be no possible way for me to get null reference exceptions. Sanity checks, line 35. Dataset. Dataset is null at this point. It's got to be the way the test runner works when you do it via command line. Is there something special I need to do? Yeah, so I don't have run test in parallel selected currently in my test runner in Visual Studio, but there are times when I do have that selected and some tests do error on occasion. So like, let's say that I did switch to release and then I ran, then it would need to do an entire build first. And because it's doing the build first, it'll run the tests out of order before it even finishes with the helper arranger for setting up the data import file, for example. But no, it worked fine. When I run tests like this, does it run on my current build profile? Build configuration? Does anyone happen to know? Look at the output and see. I mean, it built the release version, so I would assume so, but I don't know what output. What other output? Output window changed to tests. Oh my god. I'll do it as soon as I can figure out how to use my keyboard. I mean, my keyboard. That's the issue. I'm trying to do this using my keyboard. Okay. It says... It says nothing to me regarding what build configuration we're using. Scroll to the top. Okay. Me either. It's fine. When using the Test Explorer in Visual Studio, will it use the build configuration? The currently active build configuration? Debug. Build configurations and output. Build configurations like debug and release affect how generate blah blah blah. Test Explorer execution. When you run test in Test Explorer, build your test project using the active configuration. And this is my guess. This was my guess. Although here's how we can tell. We can say hash if debug else we're going to make a test fail. Okay, Test Explorer, assert fail. Thank you. I don't know these things. All right, we got a failure. And that failure is sanity tests, import data, whatever this one is. Import data set has import table. And if we change our configuration and go, no failures. All right, there you go. So for those of us that were curious about it, which I was one of those people, the build configuration you set in Visual Studio does affect your Test Explorer build profile, build configuration that it uses. Okay, which is telling me though that the Test Explorer in Visual Studio is not failing, but the command line is. So is it possible to run, this is going to be the last thing that we do for today, and then I'll switch over to Workday stream, the test directly. If we do it this way instead of doing it through the solution, index out of range. How was it? How was the syntax earlier? -C:(release). Can you get it to play sounds when it fails? Probably. I mean, I'm no soft as no. Dude, what's his name? He's still in our rolling shoutouts too, I think. Swameware. I think Swameware has it set up. Or maybe it was Eagle. Anyway, someone had it set up. And for those of you wondering how to make Visual Studio give you funny noises when you have failing code, you go into your sound settings and you go into the advanced sound settings. Hi, Mojo. Great timing. More sound settings, which opens up the legacy window. And you go back into your sounds tab, and then you can find your Visual Studio sounds that you can set sounds for. Test run failed, test run succeeded. Is this C# stream? I want to learn C#. First, you have to determine whether you have astigmatism, nearsightedness, farsightedness, and by how much. And then we can start talking about maybe finding the right prescription for you so that you can. Are you trying to kiss Dukasoft? You have astigmatism. I got the other one. Maybe it is astigmatism. I got the one where my eyeball is ovular. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so we talked about the test. We know that the test will run the profile, the Test Explorer will run the profile that you have selected in Visual Studio. We know that my tests are going to fail. That's right, I'm putting whip. No, don't worry, Mojo. We're going to do Workday stream. I'm just ending the Community Day stream. See. I gotta take a quick break. I'll probably put some Aquaphor on, so if you see my lips are a little shinier when I get back, that's what's on my lips. Okay, started working on build pipeline. Build action. It's not called a pipeline in GitHub. Okay, so that's going to be pushed. I'll go ahead and push it all the way to the server. If anyone, this is open source project. If any of you do have time and feel like it and want to use your time on this kind of thing, I would be very, very appreciative if you just completed the build, test, and staging of the NuGet packages in this pipeline. It's in this branch called Task 6, Setup NuGet. But yeah, I won't be touching this really until next week, Friday. So that's going to be the end of our community day stream. I'm going to put it on this screen, but I'm not stopping the stream. We're going to come back to probably the starting screen, and I'll just change the title and stuff. I think this is how I'm going to do it from now on. Speaking of, one thing that I would like to do in the future is maybe change my streaming days. I definitely want to make sure I'm not stepping on anyone's toes like I talked about last Wednesday. So I think it'll be the way InstaFluff used to do it, which is WTF. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it'll be at the same time as my normal. I think you meant D flat. Don't disrespect D flat, devs, please. C flat is just B. If my lips look shiny after lunch, I had fried chicken. Nice. We're on my G flat devs. I don't think Snubble's here. Meant no disrespect. I used to work in feet. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm thinking of changing my stream days to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, same times as my streams have been. Fridays are still community days with Workday stream afterwards. But over the past 3 Monday music streams on the other channel, it's been difficult to keep up with that. It eats up a lot of time trying to switch profiles just to get the Monday stream set up. So what I'll do instead is Monday during the day, my Monday and Thursday will just swap places, but Monday during the day I'll already have my computer set up for the Monday music stream. That way I can just focus on doing my work all day long, and then at the end of it, time card, and then start my music stream. Need.org developers. As long as you don't code in coffee. Oh, I love coffee dough. I think that's what that shirt means. No Java, no code. My condolences. Anyway, continue chatting amongst yourselves. I will be right back. Let me set up the welcome screen. So here's the waving. We're going to get to the waving at the end of the stream, at end of the Workday stream. So I'll just do a little bit of it now so I can get it out of the way. All right. Starting screen. Turn off community day title, turn off project 2 title, turn this title on, turn part title on. We are on part 40, episode 40. Okay, so I'll be right back. Gonna take a quick bathroom break, get some Aquaphor, refill my water bottle, and we'll do some work. And we don't need to print the internet. Although I do like printing the internet. Wait, did we not hear the sound alerts in this screen? Huh. You know what? The sound alerts aren't in this screen. Add scene. Sound alerts. Sound alerts. General alerts is in this scene. Alert browsers? Is it you? I think it might have been alert browsers. Let's try it again. 3D print the internet. Absolutely. Yay! Oh, just in time for that beautiful sound. Such a good sound. Thank you, Mojo. Okay, I'll be back very shortly. If you feel like it, stick around. But we are going to work on pretty much the same project that I have open sourced, except for my work product. So there's going to be a few differences. Okay, back in a bit.
I got a bad feeling about this.
All right, and now I get to be out of breath for the next 3 hours. Whew. I'll do the whole intro thing too. Here we go. Volume. Ready? 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 I'm not ready. Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. For those of you that weren't here for Community Day, we just finished that up. It was a fantastic time together, hanging out, talking about tests, talking about pipelines. Yeah, I'm talking it up. Long time no see. Thank you so much. I'm gonna attempt to pronounce your name. I know the last part of the name is Vishnia, but is it actually pronounced Sue or is it just Sue? Ooh. Call me Kiwi. All right. I will, as long as it's not a slur, I will call you that. Stream notes. Okay. So the only notes that I keep, by the way, are when people tell me to call them something other than what their name appears to be. Vishnia. Call me Kiwi. Okay, cool. Best regards, not. That's mean. I can't tell if those are two L's next to each other or IL. But anyway, thank you so much, Kiwi, for the follow earlier during Community Day. So we're transitioning over to my regular Workday stream. Oh, you showed. I didn't know that you showed it in a voice channel chat, Dukasoft. We'll take a look at that as the first thing. Battle in WoW. Burning Crusade. I didn't play WoW. I played Lineage. Okay, I will exit out of here. Okay, we'll get started, but for the for all information you have on me, absolutely, you sure can. Mojo. Okay, this is what I have for Mojo, and I am going to remove everyone else's stuff. Well, not remove, but only show yours. Regular notepad. Okay, new, close, pasta. Okay. Now this is GDPR violation. I mean, you asked for it. This is what I have on you. Mojo forward, Twitch, probably in the NTP, maybe. I met you on Twitch. Would you like that information deleted? Yes. ENTP is a Myers-Briggs type indicator that stands for extroverted intuition, thinking, perceiving, but it means a lot more than just that. I'm not going to go into that. What's on Dukasoft? Dukasoft. Dukasoft. Oh, geez. Dude, it just jumped. It was there. Dukasoft. Okay. Hold on. Gotta get my notepad. Notepad. Yes, personality type. Okay, this is what I has for Dukasoft. From C# Fritz Raid on 2021-10-7. He's UTC +1 and he loves coffee. Oya Dukasoft, yes. And the reason that I'm showing these is just to prove that I don't have any personal information on you. I mean, the closest to personal information is just some random fact like this that you wanted to be known by, or you made yourself known by. Oh dear. I need to get to work. Man, shouldn't have said anything. All right, Thindle. Here's Thindle. Notepad. You can't spell it without personnel either. Oh wait, maybe you can. All right, here's Thindle. Rated me from Twitch in 2022, 124. So January 24th, 2022, you rated me. That was the first time I saw you. And it was on the same day that CLW rated me. And because he rated from with you in your raid, it was the day that I met Fulisnabel as well. Yeah, I just need the banner that says, "Am I allowed to take this information from you?" He says to Mojo, "You can't spell personality without lit." I accept all cookies, chips, and brownies. Oh, did you know? First of all, this is the a snapshot, a snip, a clip of the project structure that Patrick God. And if you don't know Patrick God, he is a YouTuber who gives a lot of information on various .NET things, mostly Blazor. I love his ideas. I love his approaches. There are some things I don't agree with, but it's overall he's great. He's fantastic. So anyway, this is how he structures his solution. Do you happen to know if this is also his folder structure, or is this only his solution structure? So he has a solution, and then in that solution he has a source folder. But what else would you have in your solution that isn't the source folder? Solution files, I guess. And then he doesn't even break up his project folder or projects into different sources. Yeah, so wait, I don't know what MDS is. doc.mds. He's never going to be able to work. If that does ever end up being the case, just so you know. Oh, markdowns. Okay. MDS sounds like a file extension. I wasn't thinking .mds. But yes, markdown files. So all of your documentation, all of that stuff. But that gets put into a solution folder. Like a folder called solution folder. Solution items, sorry. So like my directory.build.props, for example. Medical doctors. But yeah, if it ever does get to a point where I am spending a lot more time just being chatty and stuff, I have a lot of work that I really, really do need to get to. So I will say, hopefully kindly and not rudely and not the word that I used on last Friday, and not mean, just, you know, in a way that says I'm gonna focus on my work right now because I need to get my work done, because this is during my work day, and I know that I am choosing to stream, but I am still streaming in a way that is asking for the kind of interaction that's more supportive of each other, and just, you know, building a welcoming community for people that want to get into .NET, people that want to see approaches for what .NET looks like on a solo developer doing a real life job. But if it ever does get to the point where even that isn't enough to allow me some leeway to focus on my work, then I'm just going to stop streaming because I don't want to opt into that. I want to opt into other more uplifting and expansive things. Okay, but I do want to also keep up with you guys as well. So scrolling up to the start, it's one L and an I. So Illidan is someone from a Warcraft stream, and it has something to do with the "I am not prepared" statement. Kind of like the Leroy Jenkins thing, maybe. I'm guessing that one I'm familiar with. There was a battle in WoW Burning Crusade. Wait, I didn't consent to you allowing you to collect metadata. Well, I ask now. And I have said it before, but I guess I don't have it posted anywhere. So it's kind of like having a speed limit that is 5 blocks down the road that you're on and being like, well, you need to honor the speed limit when you don't even know what the speed limit is until 5 blocks later. His tagline in that game is, "You are not prepared." Stream notes, aka data you're selling. Yeah, definitely data that I'm selling. No, I promise that I will not use your data for anything. If you do truly want me to delete it, I am happy to delete it. It's just a little reminder for myself to know if we've met and try to keep your name straight. For example, trying to remember that Xu Vishnia is going to be Kiwi from now on. It might take a while, so this is going to help me with that until I'm used to it. If you do stick around, that is. I hope you do. We have a very, very welcoming community. We do .NET development on this stream, and we promote other developers regardless of language or even industry. So we promote lots and lots of game developers. There are a lot more game developers on Twitch than there are app developers, but it's still a great community. We overlap a lot. For example, CannyDev is a game developer as well as an app developer. So he has a Twitch bot overlay, a whole bunch of other really, really cool stuff. And he is also the one that created a few subscriber badges that I haven't been able to get to yet, or haven't chosen to, I guess. I've had opportunities to, but I've chosen to use my time on other things. But this emote here was actually 3 of the subscriber badges. They just look like they went in order, so I pieced them together in Photoshop and turned them into a GIF or a GIF. Again, no prejudices here. However you want to pronounce it. GDPR violation, ENTP. Yes, that is a personality type. What's on Dukasoft? Hair. There's hair on Dukasoft. For real, you guessed that because it's right. Yes, I did guess it. Just based off of the few times that I've seen you stream, and then it's just our communications together. Very yes. Can't spell personality type. I just can't spell personality type, period. 11D is nearly GDPR compliant. Nearly. I love the can't spell personality without lit. That's hilarious. Phil and I were supposed to be at Sweet Hug together. None of us came. Me, the cough, he stuck something in his eye. Oh, that sounds terrible. Yeah, I haven't seen him around Twitch lately, but that doesn't sound like a good idea. Don't try this at home. Except all cookies, chips, and brownies. Now back to work. He's never going to be able to work. And then I read those. And then Dukasoft gave us the video for where he is creating the solution. MDs are medical doctors. I knew what I meant, so my brain assumed it was obvious. Yeah, so if he's just, I'm not going to pull up the video, but if he's just if he's just creating the solution in Visual Studio and then creating the solution folders in there, then most of his files on disk are probably all in solution root without that source folder. So yeah, it's more of a solution structure thing. Honor, I hardly know her. I think I missed a... I either forgot or I haven't read the statement yet. Okay, I knew what I meant, so my brain assumed it was obvious. And then Mojo said to Thindle, your brain is the best brain. Thindle said to Mojo, let's agree to disagree, but thank you. At least you took the compliment somewhat. I'm working on that part of it. Just saying thank you. Just saying thank you. It's hard. It's very hard to do. Know the game itself, not from a stream. He's the big baddie boss in the first expansion. So he's an actual mob. Got it. Got it. And he says, I am not prepared, apparently. Please do tell me if you don't have time. I can always just ask later on Discord. Wait, what were you asking though? I thought we answered your question. I thought we addressed it. I didn't ignore it. Speaking of Discord, thank you. And I can't install Windows updates, says my computer. Good. I don't want Windows updates installed right now. I'm streaming. Vindo was asking Dukasoft if he's going to plan or if he's planning on any more drone streams. No pressure. And Dukasoft says yes. The weather's just been too bad, either for me or the drone at the moment. Yeah. I can drone from my balcony. Are you allowed to do that? Sounds fun, says Dukasoft. Dindle says, I mean, why not? Yeah, Fula is waiting for surgery. That sucks. Horrible version, but an angle grinder to his eye to get rid of some scarring. Yuck. And very bad at taking compliments. Yeah, we're working on that. You did answer. Don't worry about it. It was just in general. Cool. Cool. Good. So yes, my assumption then, without watching the video, which I can watch later though, is that he set up his solution in Visual Studio, and all of the folders that you see him creating are specifically in the solution itself and not on disk. So his folder on disk most likely looks like this. So he created the solution, and the solution looks like solution gets a folder that looks like this, and then in that are all of the projects and the solution file on the same level, along with all of his solution files. So on disk, I'm sure this is what it looks like. In Visual Studio, you can arrange it how you want, but I don't know about creating a source folder separate from the solution items folder. I think I would still, at minimum, keep the projects. Oops, that was a bad idea. That was a very bad idea. Let's hope I didn't actually change anything. At minimum, keep the projects in their own subfolder based off of the function of the project. So in this case, I have the entire library in one folder and the sample app in another folder. You know a lot, Dukasoft. So Dukasoft said, yeah, it looked odd to me, but what do I know? Okay, so for work, here's where we are. Here's what is making me feel the most anxious and overwhelmed at the moment. I did get a message back about the lab data import utility. They are starting to use it. And the user was like, I'm using a file, and it was the file that we went over. Duca is Smartka. True. He's using a file that he used while we were going over the app the first time when we met. God. And I need to get to the RMA folder, projects, new lab data. Oh, and then I restructured this. I now have a samples file folder because I'm getting a lot of samples. So here's the deal. He used a what? He used a file that looked like this. It was an Excel file though, that looked like this, and did all of his mapping and stuff, and left it and saved the mapping. Gosh, man, saved it as a template. So once he saved it as a template, then he ended for the day, had a whole bunch of other stuff to do for the next week, and then came back to it yesterday. He messaged me yesterday saying, I came back to the app and I loaded the file, and the template that I created is not showing up. And I was like, okay, I have a couple of thoughts. So the only way that the template is going to show up is, or a template for this file is going to show up, is if the set of columns that are being imported from that file, too late, that are being imported from that file match exactly the set of columns stored in the database for a given file. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Oh, I didn't finish introducing myself to anyone that is here brand new, by the way. So I am a .NET developer working for the Rocky Mountain Wildlife National Refuge. It is a place where they are monitoring the environment, testing soil, testing water to make sure that there are no pollutants and radioactive crap in it. Just keeping it safe for the community, because there was a massive thing that happened in the past. Just look up Rocky Mountain Arsenal. It was a super fun site for a while, and everything got cleaned up. So now we are just maintaining and making sure that it stays clean. That said, one of the apps I work on, thank you, Radioactive. I work on a whole bunch of apps. So there are many apps that they use in order to do the environmental monitoring, create the reports, collect data, do some observations, internal tools that we use for the site, because we are a star rated site. I can't think of what organization gave us the star rating, but it's one that essentially means that we are super secure, safe. It's a very safety driven site. We have all of these safety practices. Other places should model their safety practices after us. It's very, very difficult to get a star rating. Or whatever the thing is called. So we've maintained it for at least 4 years, which is amazing. And so one of the things that we have is an application that users can report safety observations. I saw someone spill water on the floor, and they immediately mopped it up and put the little yellow thing that says caution wet floor. And that was a positive safety practice. Or another one could be, I saw someone cut their hand on accident in the workplace, and that's another safety report. That is a negative safety report, but we get all the reports. So that's where I work. This application in particular is created because we have one laboratory that would take any of our water, soil, or air samples, do analyses on them, and then send us back the results. Those results are sent back to us in a very expected way. Caution, unintended breakdancing ahead. That is what it looks like, isn't it? I love this. I'm gonna see that every time now. Good grief. Although we don't have any in our house, so I wonder if we're not employing good safety practices. because this is technically my workplace, and we need to observe similar safety practices here. Goodness, how dare. Yeah, president not sure too. Never see it the same way again. Dubisoft. That's hilarious. So now what's happening is we have other labs that are taking the samples and doing analyses on them and sending us back the results. But what they're sending back to us is a format that our original system that took the data from the lab and put it into our database does not recognize. Our system is still back in the early 90s, mid to early 90s. No, mid to late 90s. Even though it was created in 2008. It's fine. So this application is expecting a file called a TRN, which is a transfer file. And that transfer file is a text document with a fixed width format. So first 3 characters are the installation code. Second set of 3 characters is the media type. Then just all of these. So we're still living in that age for this app, at least for that particular lab. But they're like, well, we need the files that they're sending us to be in that format, or in a format that the database can accept and then run all of the record checks. So as soon as a lab person submits data in here, they have this record check functionality for one of those lab results, and that will give them back any errors, any inconsistencies, any sanity checks that just aren't matching up based on the samples that we sent them, the data that we have in our database currently, and the results that they are giving us. And it's like, that number there is outside of the range even for that test method. So those kinds of things get checked. There are like 400 or 500 checks that get done on every single one of these records. So I didn't want to have to rewrite all of those checks to match different field names. So instead, I made it to where users can receive whatever file they receive and then map them to our expected file class type, essentially, the shape of data that the database is expecting, and be able to import and then make those reusable. So they do the mapping once for this file that has these column headers and this data type, and they save that, and then they can recall it the next time they have a file that is like that. Problem is that the way that I'm currently checking to see if there are any saved templates is that not only does it have to be the exact set of columns named exactly the same way. So if they like change the capitalized, no, I think I too lower it. If they remove a space in a column header, or put an underscore, or add a dash, or add a column to the file before importing it, that template is not going to show up here, even though it may have been the same original file, but they just needed to add a field for the converted result to the corrected mantissa, uncorrected mantissa, corrected exponent, uncorrected exponent, and whatever the other one is, quality values. But then there's still one more problem, is that the way that I wrote the code is not only is it looking for that exact set of columns, it's looking for that exact set of columns and data types. Because my initial forethought was there could be another lab that sends us back a file that has similar column names, or maybe the exact column names, but different data types. Like for whatever reason, collection date is actually a Julian date string instead of a date time field. Yeah, that would be an example. So you can't use that template to load mappings for a file that template wasn't created on, was my thought. However, here's what I think is happening for them. When we were creating that initial file, or not initial file, when we were talking through how the application works, and I'll catch up on chat shortly, I promise. They had already changed the file over. So they've loaded it into Excel. And let's say they saved it. Oops. Dang it, I didn't mean to save it as the same file. I meant to save as. So I'm going to save as so that we can convert it to an Excel file. It's okay. I still have the original file in the email for testing. Oh my gosh, I'm so blind. Okay, so I'm saving this particular one as an Excel file. So now the same data is in Excel format. And so when we use that Excel format to import the data, like show, instead of it being a CSV full of string values everywhere, now this is a real date time. Now this is a real double or decimal or whatever it gets stored as and read in as. So my set of imported templates, my set of user templates is different because the columns are all named the same number of columns, but the data types for those columns are different now. So I need a way to resolve that, to reconcile my logic for this. And so there's a few things that I'm thinking of. First, we need to consider the mechanism that I'm using to find whether this file that's being imported, we already have a database entry for it, which would look like, so this, yeah, I guess this is still correct. This is the imported file, and all I'm doing is giving it a GUID so that when I store the rest of the information about it, which would be what fields are in this file, I'm storing the field name and the data type. That's what makes it unique. So for that first file, the collection of all of these columns and data types makes it a unique file. You can see that down here for this new file. Oh, it's only on my it's only on the test server, and now I'm pointing to the test server to debug this. But the new file would be down here. It would have the exact same column names, but different data types for some of them. It would have the actual system.double, system.datetime, or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. So that got me thinking. Should I, oh, right. And then I guess the third piece, the last piece of the user imports, is that the template itself is based off of what file is it associated with, what set of fields and data types were used to create this template. And so what I do in order to get the templates for that dropdown is find out which imported data files have this set of column and data type matchings, pairings, and have all of the fields from the file. Then give me back all user import templates that have that as its file ID. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, but what we're, for that specific user too, by the way, these templates are not shared currently. I am thinking of having a flag that you can set to make it public where only the original user that created it can update it, but anyone can use it. So that'll most likely be a thing that we work on. But right now what we're working on is giving back essentially all of the templates regardless of what file they were created with, finding out which imported files have the exact matching of the columns versus which ones have a similar matching, where maybe it has some of the columns, or maybe it does have all of the columns, but their data types don't match. So that's what I'm thinking our approach is going to be. In order to do that, I was also thinking of, is there an easier way to associate the files with their field sets to get back a faster way to look up, does the set of fields match the ones that are in the database for that file? And what I'm doing already in the code is, where are the helpers? This is the database. Nice try. This is the lab data. Oh yeah, this is where it is. So what I'm doing currently is I'm concatenating all of the field name dash data types for all of the fields for the file that's getting imported for the one that we're currently using. And I'm checking in the database for all import file fields. Again, that's the table that has the field type combinations for a given file. If the name dash data type hint is in this list, then they are candidate fields. If a given field set that we got back from our candidate fields, so we're getting back the entire imported fields set, if the hash that we create based off of the concatenation of all of the field name field types for the incoming file concatenated with a pipe, which you can see here. You can see here, they're all concatenated with a pipe. And then they get hashed. If the hash for that concatenation of field name, field type, sorted by field name, then by field type, matches the ones coming in from the database, and there is a one-to-one match for every field in the database matches every field in the imported file, and every field in the imported file matches every field in the database, then we have a match. We found the template, or the file that was saved to the database that matches this particular file that we're trying to import currently. However, that will only give us back templates created for that specific file, which means that if we have a file that was created with different data types or just slightly different column names, or has most of the columns but not all of them, we're not going to get it back. And we're only getting back one file, one matching file using this, because we know that there will only ever be one set of field type combinations for a file, for one file that will match the file that we're trying to use, 0 or 1. That said, I need to get back a list of all potential files. And so the easiest way that I thought that I could do that is to take this hash that I'm computing every single time I want to do this lookup and save it to the database. So this table here would also have the field hash, which again is the combination of fields dash field type pipe next field dash field type, where all of the fields are sorted by field name, then by field type. And that way the only hash that I need to compute is on the imported field descriptor. Okay, so that's one of them. And the reason that I would want that is to be able to set a flag that says this was an exact match. Any other file that isn't in the set of exact match files will be a loosely matched, and that's just the term that I came up with to call it. It'll be a loosely matched file. Why do you have a change? We're in Maine. You should not have any changes. Okay, I was just removing some unused usings. That'll happen naturally. No, it's not what I meant to do. Help. Totally broke stuff. Okay, but the point is that regardless of what, dang it, that's gonna cause me to close and reopen Visual Studio. Regardless of what set of fields exist, we probably want to give back every template for that user with the basic information of whether that template was created on a file that was an exact match of the field and data types, or a loose match, which is the field names existed, some or all of the field names existed, but maybe the file types were, or field types were different, or maybe there were some additional fields in the imported file that didn't appear in the one that's saved to the database, or maybe there's some additional ones in the database that didn't appear in the file, or both. So yeah, we're going to do that. That is this method that I'm currently working on. That is currently in a branch that I need to pull. That we are about to switch to. Okay, and I am going to close and reopen Visual Studio because I did separate the projects out so that I'm no longer using two repositories from two different, two solutions from projects from two different repositories or multiple repositories. And it's just easier for me to look at and commit stuff when there's only one showing in Visual Studio. Speaking of communities that overlap in the dev world, in the dev stream world, there's a shout out for Anna, SaaS Dev, who is also another multi-talented working in creating her own game engine, creating her own everything. But she is working on some pretty insane looking stuff a lot of the times and just has a fun time on her stream. Anna is awesome, says Tyndall. You aren't wrong. Okay, so now that I've said all that, now that I've gotten the correct branch and I won't accidentally make changes to main, I will catch up in chat like a magic. We're talking about how smart Duca is. It's about to Duca some variables. About time. It's about time to Duca some variables. Temp too late. Not temp early. Should have been bang temp early. Talking about radioactive soil, water, multi-headed deer, cancer, all the bad things. They put things where things should not be put. Although, to be fair, Thindle, and then EPA happened. To be fair, they put things in places that they thought that some educated person thought would be an okay way to dispose of volatile chemicals safely, which is bury it underground in containers that could potentially leak and rust. And if they do, then eventually they will go into the soil and the earth will do its magic and process them, and they'll be clean by the time anyone notices. Isn't that? It's a great idea. Who even needs groundwater? Yeah. Oh gosh. And then the I want to see that. Like, there has to be a meme of this. Caution, unintended break dancing wet surface sign. There's gotta be one. I mean, look at them. Unintentional breakdancing. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find something comical like that with these. That's sad. Oh, I like this one better. This definitely demonstrates what the words say. I mean, you know, the whole symbol for, you know, the person that looks like they're breakdancing to let people who can't read know what the sign means. I think this conveys that perfectly. Where did it go? This is perfect. No one would misunderstand what this means at all. Anyway, I've worked with .duca files. Have you? I want a .duca file. Mid to early 90s, but uses Blazor. No, it didn't. It was a JSP application. And now it's an MVC application. Because of the awesomeness that is one line. In the 90s, I wore a red blazer to my Vika events. I don't know what Vika is. Very important casual assault.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Mic check. Weird. So weird. I think Crisp just decided to stop working suddenly. I don't know where I cut off, but it's okay. There wasn't anything important. Just the thing about, well, he looks so happy. Any lip readers in the crowd? Mic has been checked. I was just talking about them not implementing iDisposable. They were just, thank you. Thank you so much. I was saying something about something where they were like, hey, we're gonna create all of this chemical weapons and mass weapons of destruction, not thinking about, hey, if we don't use these, we're gonna have to dispose of them and tear them down somehow. Wait. Crisp is working though, otherwise you would hear the background noise. Like this. The noise of computers running. And water drinking. Are you ready for this? Okay, so anyway, noise cancellation is working in Crisp. Um, that's terrible. Nice timing, TBD. Welcome back. I feel slightly uncomfortable with this shift to ASMR. It's ASDL. Anyway, it was just that Crisp suddenly stopped using the microphone. And so all I did was toggle the microphone input to something else and then back. ADSL, yes, even that too. Or HSL, or the mic licking hasn't even started yet. No, thank you. Opt out. We're not getting to that. Don't worry, TBD. I'm leaving if that starts. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Okay, so I need to come up with a solution for this, which means that we are essentially, oh yeah, this is what's happening. We have the thing where we're trying to implement the conditional rules, the equals, greater than, less than, if this, then take this mapping rule, otherwise this other mapping rule. Crispity crunchy. Microphone ignority. Speaking of, is it actually crunchy right now? Or is it pretty clear? Is it still okay? Excuse me. Can I monitor you? I'm gonna have to do the TBD thing. I still want to ask about that. It's clear? Okay, thank you. It's so hard because it's not normalized. I'm not allowed to just talk about this without feeling awkward. At least it feels like I'm not allowed to talk about this. Everyone knows aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever. Everyone knows that solar flares are a thing. They do impact the Earth, electronic systems, whatever. Everyone knows that astral bodies have a gravitational effect. They send photons to the Earth. They send neutrinos from the sun through everything. It passes information. Light is information. You all get that. That's all scientific. That's not woo-woo stuff. Right? Good? I mean, you can disagree on the extraterrestrials thing. You can argue all of the things from your paradox. So everything sans the extraterrestrials thing. We know that the sun has solar flares. We know that solar flares affects the world's electronic stuff. You don't have to agree with me on all of it, but empirically, scientific evidence towards that proven evidence, not just theories and made up stuff. It's stuff that we have observed because that's all we can do. We observe things. Has anyone been experiencing, especially in the past couple of weeks, extra weirdness with technology? I think I asked this already, but extra weirdness with technology. Noticeable, not just small quirks that happen here and there that you can just pass off as there was a small power surge, but things like, for example, I had a blue screen a few days ago. And does your computer blue screen much? Has it blue screened ever before? Because that's what I'm talking about. Just my normal not knowing what I'm doing. Yeah, and Thindle, I'm stealing your you're getting sick, your bronchitis with pneumonia, as my smoke alarm battery got low enough to alert. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I want to allow joking about it, but I am being true. I'm being genuine about this. Why you steals? You know, steals. So people getting sick, crazy technology stuff. I'm just looking for evidence of it. That's all. I'm collecting empirical evidence of something happening to people I know, not just someone saying third hand, this happened to other person. For me specifically, it was that I recently installed, and again, you can explain this away if you want. I recently installed 2 smart light switches that are connected to Google Home that have dimmers on them. And one night, and it happened to be the night that the 5 or 6 planets were in aligned with Earth. I was like, okay, assistant, turn off all the lights. And it turned off all the lights in the house that have similar stuff in them, except for the bathroom lights in the master bedroom. And I was like, okay, assistant, turn off the bathroom lights. And it made the noise like it did, like the lights were supposed to turn off, but they were still on. And I'm like, okay, assistant, turn on the bathroom lights. And then the lights turned off. And then I walked over to the switch and I pushed the button on it and the lights didn't turn on. And so I said, okay, assistant, turn off the lights. And then the lights stayed off. And then I said, okay, assistant, turn on the lights. And then the lights turned on. And then I said, okay, assistant, turn the lights off. And they stayed on. And then I said, turn the lights off. And then turn the lights on. And then they turned off. So anyway, that's one example of the many, many, many weird oddities with technology that have been happening to me lately. 2 of only 3 SSD failures I've ever had, says DC Aggie. A month ago, you had 2 SSDs fail on the same day within an hour. Are their serial numbers kind of close to each other? Fire the assistant, seriously. And it's never done so while watching Netflix. My smart blinds batteries also went dead in the same time frame. Because, like, again, all of this could be perceived, imagined, whatever, but it is what I'm experiencing. I'm sharing that with you, and I'm asking for you to share anything that is actually happening with you too. Doesn't have to mean anything, but it's happening at a very peculiar time. I need to watch MST3K episode, the day time ended. Okay. Masterpiece Science Theater. I'll put that on my list. Day time ended. But yeah, like, how many people, and again, this is season for people getting sick, but how many people had something more than just sick happen to them, more than just the flu? And Thindle's one of those people that I have heard of that had that. And you are absolutely allowed to lurk. Yeah. That counts. That counts a lot. Mystery Science Theater, not Masterpiece Theater, because that's just Masterpiece Theater. There's Mystery Science Theater and Masterpiece Theater. I got this. Mystery Science Theater. I love Balint's disappearing cat emote. Poof emote. Yes. It's a lurk emote. I love it too. Love it, love it, love it. Disappearing Zelda, not just cat. Dear. Don't start that here. I don't know anything about that, if that's an in-joke or not, so it's difficult for me to participate in it. And there's also Masterpiece Mysteries, which is a subtype of Masterpiece Theater, really. An alien is leading an inter-branch coup in my country and will likely cost my partner his job. I'd have preferred ET. I'd have preferred extraterrestrial. Wait. Is that from the Mystery Science Theater thing, or Or is that what's actually happening with you? Because again, yeah, I've aged into watching streaming Brit mystery shows. You like what you like. You like what you like. It's from reality. Yeah. Okay. And if it's okay with you, I'm going to treat it like you're being serious. Because there are other things that have happened in my personal experience that, like firsthand personal experience, that leaves me without doubt in that. It was political, though. It was political. Kind of. I mean, it's about humanity as a whole. But yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, and it's also one of those topics where it feels to me like along the same lines as religion, even though it's something different, or astrology even. But I respect all of the viewpoints, and I just don't want to get into an argument or try to, no, we're about to get rated, or try to push any ideals on any thoughts or points of views on other people. I really intended for what I was asking to be more empirical. Are things happening to you personally that are odd? Okay, everyone brace yourself. Act like you don't know Barty's coming in. And showtime. Showtime. Wow, that's taking a long time. A raid? A raid? Hopefully none of you are caught behind ads. That'd be annoying. If you are. Oh, wait. Hey, Gers. I hope all is well. All is amazing. A raid? Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Hi, Bardeki. How are you doing? What were you working on? How is your day going? Do you have anything you want to share? I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. For any of you that were here and don't know Bardeki, he is an amazing game developer working on a game called The Unwanted War. It used to be called The Unwanted War, but, you know, what are you going to do? He rebranded. I exist. I was lurking on your stream, trying to give you some love. I was working on unit formations. There was some stuff to fix, more math than I like. Yeah, feel free to share screenshots, your Steam page, anything you want. So he is on Steam. I exist. I Dukasoft. All of these emotes that you see with the green Bardaki, I mean with the green bouncy guy, sometimes he's a booger coming out of a nose, sometimes he's a booger, green tongue coming out of hand mouth. Those are all Bardaki. Last Halloween. It was this most recent Halloween, right? There it is. And also coming out of his own mouth. I forgot about that one. Jeez. It was the year before. It was great. That's all it was. It was fantastic times. For any of you coming into the stream that don't know me, which we have a lot of overlap, so if you came in with Bardaki and you are still here and you don't know me, I am One Lion. I'm a .NET developer, and during my typical streams, I am working on my day job and trying to pretty much show what it's like to be a solo developer working on actual industry apps and doing a job with my time. We have an amazing community here, Bardaki being part of it and us being part of his community, which is awesome and amazing. So feel free to ask questions, feel free to talk about things that you're excited about, especially in the technology world, and things that you're working on, share your stories. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how to fix some logic because one of our users was trying to use this data import utility. And just because I'm talking about this, feel free to, again, talk about the stuff that you saw on Bardaki's stream. If you need to, if you need to head off, totally understand. But Pardaki said, I just got a new job as the senior director at Old McDonald's Farm. I'm the CIEIO. Oh my goodness. And it got pinned. Oh my gosh. Fresh Meat says, I'm excited about some more calzones for dinner. I mean calzones, sorry. All right. Thank you so much, Bardaki. Thanks for the raid and thanks for the lurk. My dinner last night. Oh gosh, we're getting on food. Yep, we are. Wow, you guys aren't even sponsored by Google. Nah, it's old Barty. Old Barty. Not old Lordy. I'm not logged in on this browser. Blue Apron is the place for me. Did you know that you would get some bard lyricism from non-bardic me today? This was yesterday's dinner. Come on. Come on. Copy. Copy, 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 copy. This was yesterday's dinner. A burger, except we switched out the burger with Impossible patties. They are plant-based patties. They're super tasty. So tasty. And not as heavy as beef burgers or pork burgers. But marinated cucumbers in rice vinegar. We always add sugar to it because that's how they had us make it once, and it's super tasty when you do sugar with rice vinegar, and some potatoes, potato wedges. These buns are the best. They're so soft and round. No cucumbers for me, but yeah, and I leave the cucumbers off myself. But the sauce, this sauce here that's on top of it, is hoisin mayo, which is hoisin sauce with mayo, and that's nutrition facts. And I think the miso was supposed to go in there, but I'm not a fan of miso anymore. It started to just taste off to me. Yeah, so the miso and the mayo go together, and then the hoisin was on the side. Instead, I made hoisin mayo. Boiga buns. Oh yeah, and then this trick, which is after you're done cooking your patties, you just slap the buns in there face down and toast them that way. The flavor that you get from that, it's so good. So good. Okay, that was then, and I'm not cooking today, and then we have some other meals for the weekend, but on Monday it's gonna either be broccoli quiche, so tasty, again, more potatoes, of course, lemon caper chicken without the chicken, so it's just lemon caper. Just lemon and capers. Or 15-minute spicy sausage pasta without the sausage, which is just 15-minute spicy. I cannot eat cooked broccoli. Good for you. I'm gonna keep encouraging you to not eat cooked broccoli. It's so much better for you. But I struggle to eat raw broccoli. the way that Blue Apron has us make broccoli is usually roasted, and I used to not like any vegetables whatsoever. So like this would have looked disgusting to me. And now it looks savory with the mushroom. I guess these will be mushroom with mushroom and spinach. It's like, oh, so good. Mm, yeah, it's good for you. Teach me. Teach me, please, senpai. So yeah. Anyway, those are my meals for the next week. Roasted broccoli is amazing, and the way that I do it, they give us broccoli heads or heads that we have to cut up into our own florets. So I cut them up, and then put them in a Ziploc bag. Pour in salt, pepper. Sometimes I use the seasoning that comes with the Caesar salad kit. Um, there's this kind of peppery spice that's more than just pepper. Put that in there. A little bit of oil. Do kind of a shake and bake type of bag thing. Slap them on a baking pan and roast them. Roasted Brussels sprouts. They have us make this super duper amazing. And I say they have us because I'm not going to choose what to eat. I need them to tell me what I'm eating. This is not an advert for Blue Apron or anything, but if you are interested in a Blue Apron, and you live in the US, I can give you an email where you can get a free box, and then you can just cancel your subscription and don't let it renew if you want to try them. But the way they have us do Brussels sprouts when they're in season, which would have been a while ago, is that they will have us roast them and then put them into this honey vinegar mix and marinate them after roasting them. It's so good. So tasty. But yeah, the way that Blue Apron works is each week you get to choose from a list of meals, and you pick out 3 or 4 or however many you want, and they come in servings of 2 or 4. You can get anywhere from 2 to 5 meals. Awesome. President Not Sure uses Blue Apron. So you know about the honey Brussels sprouts thing. And their pizza dough. Their pizza dough and their baguettes are the best bread things I have ever had. Ever. They've taught me some really cool recipes, things that I do on my own now. I love cooking, by the way. Love cooking. I hate deciding what's for dinner. Oh, my favorite one, which we're getting in one of these upcoming weeks, is this. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I don't know if this is just what they decided to call it, but enchiladas divorciadas. And it's like, is that really a thing? Anyway. Okay, enough about food. Love raw broccoli though. I'll learn to eat it one day. One day my body will just not want cooked vegetables and it'll want raw vegetables only. That day is not today. It still does enjoy meat quite often. One day it's not going to want to, but today it does. So I'm going to keep eating meat and vegetables, cooked vegetables. Not sure if we're on Home Chef or Blue Apron at the moment, but I love the black bean soup and broccoli cheddar soup. They're so tasty. Black beans, like, again, another thing that I didn't know I would like as much as I do. I grew up in a Puerto Rican household, and we had red kidney beans and rice, and fried everything: fried chicken, fried pork chops, fried everything. But the variety of food that I encountered, because I didn't like vegetables very much, and they did a lot of stuff like chuka and just other vegetable-y things. I didn't really have that much of an expanded experience with food, and now that I have and I'm enjoying it as much as I enjoy it, I don't know. It's going to be hard to give up a lot of the foods that I'm eventually going to need to give up. Yeah, we got the broccoli cheddar soup as one of the add-ons, and it was magnificent. The thing that they don't do very well, in my opinion, is their recipe for mac and cheese. It's not great. I don't like it. All right, that was fun. Thank you for looking at food with me. Now I'm hungry. It's gonna be hard getting through the rest of the stream. It's my own fault. I'm not blaming any of you. Not in the least. Bland, try adding vinegar-based barbecue sauce to it. Yes, so that is also something that they do have with their mac and cheese thing, is the pulled pork, where they have you make a barbecue pulled pork and slap it on top. That's tasty, but again, the mac and cheese, the consistency of the cheese, it's still just not right. It's not creamy, and I like creamy mac and cheese. What's the first plugin icon on your browser? That is Malwarebytes. You are quite welcome. Okay, I need to get this thing to recognize partial matches for templates now. So the approach that I was thinking, as I mentioned earlier, and again, please continue the conversation if you have more to say about that topic. The approach that I'm planning on taking and have started taking is adding this field to the imported file table so that it's easier to know whether an imported file has an exact match of the fields. But that's still not going to make it easy to compare, does it have a partial match of the fields? So is this worthwhile? Is it worth adding a field to the database when it's really not going to be accessed that often? It's not going to have heavy traffic or anything. So I could just do the query and then do the hashing in the C# code. The reason that I wanted to do this was because I wanted to show doing a migration on stream. And then the typical approach that I take for updating a database for something like adding a field. Because not only would I want to add this field, but in this migration, I would also want to calculate the hashes of all of the existing records. And then update the exact file hash again during the migration process. So it happens only once. Yeah, I don't think that I want to update the database. Dang it. That'd have been fun too. Would it be worth my time? Would it be worth your time? So let's say that I was going to take this approach. Then my next steps after creating the field, the new field in the entity for the object, for the table, for the object that represents the table in the database, I'd create a new well, I would usually commit this at this point so that when I do this migration, I can undo the migration easier without undoing the previous changes that I made. But I'd create a migration. So the way that I do migrations is I typically have a database project for all of my databases separate from the applications. And that's only because we have so many databases and so many applications that access more than one database. And a lot of them do overlap. So for example, RTrack, RMA Water, STrack, and RMA Chain of Custody all access the RMA ED database. And RMA ED is an environmental database, blah, blah, blah. Many, many tacos, much more food. So what I have is a simple ASP.NET Razor Pages project inside of my database project or database solution. And so that is set up with the connection strings, with the add DB context, use SQL Server with this migration assembly, because the migration assembly is in a different namespace, different assembly name. So we are referencing that assembly name so that with our entity framework tool, this one here, we're able to run add migration. So if you're going to use the package manager console inside of Visual Studio to do this, I like this better because it feels more than .NET tools. Hi, Apocalypse. Welcome in. I'm glad you had the opportunity to wake me up when September ends. Who are you? It even scared President. Dang. You must have turned up the volume at some point. And it's kind of weird because apparently when Crisp decided to probably when Crisp decided to stop working, and then I started asking the questions about technology being weird. Anyway, salary is here, so a lot of people are getting paid today. Awesome. Or everything is louder on my stream. Is what I was gonna say. Oh, geez. What I was gonna say is that when Crisp cut out, and then I told it to use my mic again, Dukasoft said that my mic sounded louder. But I never touched my volume. That's the thing. All I did was I told Crisp to use a different input source and then switched it back to my microphone. And then I got really close to my microphone. You want to hear that again? With noise cancellation turned off? Okay. I won't. Yeah, that's what it was. I must have been doing tricks on you. I'm done picking at my lips. Dang it. Okay, so I like using the package manager console in Visual Studio because it's easier for me to use than .NET EF migration. I don't know the command line options and stuff, but it seems like to add a migration, you need to put the connection string in the command line tool, unless it works pretty much the same if you have a separate migrations project that has app settings and all that. But the downside to using the package manager console is you need a runnable app, whether it's a console app or a full-on ASP web app. You need an actual application in order to do the add migration and stuff like that. So anyway, our migration is called add hash, field map hash. Not field map hash, just field hash. Field hash. Now we're talking about hash browns, which corned beef hash so confused Irish John yesterday. Okay, so this is my typical approach. make the modification to the model, add my migration. Usually doesn't take this long. And it would give me my up and down. And because, ooh. So this is a good example of something that I wouldn't want to do. So right now the data type on this column is var binary max. I don't want it to be var binary max. I want it to be var binary 32 for my 256 hash. Max, or var binary 64. $32, right? var binary 32. What data type? $32. Yeah, okay. And it could just be a straight binary 32 because we know that it's going to be specifically tacos. We know that it's specifically going to be to store a SHA-256 hash. That said, I want to undo this migration. Remove migration. So I type in remove migration, and allegedly it reverts my migration. So it gets rid of that file, and it reverts my, Dukasoft knew, my bag. And it reverts my snapshot stored in the project back to what it should have been, or what it was before I applied that migration. Pretty simple, especially since I didn't apply the migration to the actual database yet. So I need to configure that. Table entity, no, try again, overrides. And there's a few ways. You could use data annotations and say that it has a max length of 32, or you can go into the Fluent API, find the import, or find the model that you're working in. And I like these to all be properties first, and then relationships, entity.property, field hash. And I'm going to rename this too. I mean, we're not keeping this. This is going to be called field hash, not exact field hash, because I was considering putting both the exact field hash and the loose field hash, where the exact field hash would be the whole field name dash data type concatenated all together and then hashed. But this is not what I wanted to do. Thank you. No default. Has max length of 3012. 3012. So anyway, that's updated. We renamed it. We're going to add migration, same thing. I use data anno thingies. Would love to beat myself into learning the other way, but you don't have to. If data annotations are working for you and they're easy for you to understand, why change? And there we go. So now it's going to create the field as a var binary 32 for that table. Awesome. If we were to look at what it looks like now, you can use script migration to see what SQL would be run on the server. And what it does is it generates all of the scripts. So from the very first initial create is what I called my first migration, all the way down to our current migration. So you do kind of have to scroll through it until you find the most recent insert into EF migration history for your most recent migration and see what code's going to run, which is simply alter table add field. And then insert into EF migration history to tell the database that it's up to date. There's got to be another way to know what version the database is, or to handle doing versioning rather than adding a new field to your database. Good way to make my head explode. Oh, that's a good reason. Okay, so I want to do more than just this. I want to get the actual field hash for each of the records that exist in the table after creating this column. Oh, DC Aggie, how dare. Oh my gosh. Please refrain from using foul language on the stream. I mean, like, you know, you can curse and stuff, but that was going too far, DC Aggie. I can't even read that out loud. Anyway, I did not mean to make your head explode, Dukasoft. I didn't realize that you were talking about the script. DC Aggie, I'm disappointed. Oh, I hope that you aren't actually triggered by that. I am joking. I am joking. Forgive me if it's not good. Okay, so to do that, I want to create SQL to do it. To do it right now. I got my mind set on. Today's a singing kind of day. I wonder if my wife wants to do karaoke tonight. So here's the thing. We're using C# 13, which means that we should have. Oh yeah. Wait. Okay, good. Which means that we should have our literal strings. This thing, redeem sing mode. If it's a song I know, I will sing it in my head quietly. So you don't have to be exposed to that. You get enough from me just randomly singing weird things. Although on my music streams, you might actually hear my voice because I will be doing some vocal processing on some lyrics that I sang myself. I don't know how I feel about that yet, or if I'm actually going to be doing it. No available items. Wait, what? Yeah. Apparently, if I set up items in a store on Stream Elements, I could do redemptions that way? Can we do redeem archery? No? Are you case sensitive? Not distracted at all. No. Okay. It'd have been cool. Dukasoft is probably rummaging around Stream Elements right now. What is this? What can we put in here? Okay. We want to do the SQL for this.